I'm Joe Reed, and this is Behind the Mic with AudioFile magazine. Alan Minskoff was with me, and he began the week with a really interesting suggestion. So where are we going today, Alan?
We're going to a classic piece of nonfiction by the great Joan Didion. It's Slouching Towards Bethlehem, essays, of course, from the 60s. And they are read, and I have to insist on saying this, by Maya Hawke, the actress and musician, and she has a beautiful voice. And I think Didion's essays are enlivened by this very fine reading. She clearly spent a lot of time capturing Didion.
Well, this is, one of the seminal books of 1960, and my God, the net she throws is really, really wide. As I remember growing up in California, she writes about John Wayne, she writes about Howard Hughes, and of course, she writes about the counterculture.
She's really one of the first who directly takes on what the life was like in the counterculture. And that's, of course, the title essay is about the counterculture. And some thought she was being critical. I think she simply is one of the great flies on the wall reporters. She wrote what she saw and how she was inculcated into that hippie culture in San Francisco.
Yeah, I always was struck by her really sharp and smart curiosity.
That's very well put.
She always asks the next question.
You know what I found fascinating, and she mentions this, or I probably wouldn't, is that Didion was famously a very small and slight woman, and she felt that that gave her an additional advantage, is that people didn't notice her as much, so she could kind of be there and not being very noticed. And I think in the Slouching Toward Bethlehem essay, especially where she is a reporter and an observer, that it worked to her advantage. Now we're going to listen to in today's sound sample, we're going to listen to her piece on John Wayne, which is really extraordinary.
Okay. This is Slouching Towards Bethlehem, Essays by Joan Didion and read by Maya Hawke.
When John Wayne spoke, there was no mistaking his intentions. He had a sexual authority so strong that even a child could perceive it. And in a world we understood early to be characterized by venality and doubt and paralyzing ambiguities, he suggested another world, one which may or may not have existed ever, but in any case existed no more, a place where a man could move free, could make his own code and live by it, a world in which if a man did what he had to do, he could one day take the girl and go riding through the draw and find himself home free.
That is such a lovely passage, and it's read perfectly. I really, really like Maya Hawke's voice.
I hope she does more reading.
I
She's
do
a
too.
lovely voice.
Yeah, it seems so suited for the material.
And whatever else you might say about Jo Didion, she's an eloquent crafter of sentences. She has a beauty in her writing, no matter what she's writing about. But I love this piece I was glad they gave us the John Wayne one because, I live in the West and that I can look out my window and see cottonwoods.
Excellent. And, it's also just a beautiful tribute to her ability to remember how captivated and moved she was by him.
I think that's exactly right. And, for those of a certain generation, my generation, John Wayne stood out kind of like Ronald Reagan without the politics. He was this powerful figure of the American West.
And figures in Joan Didion's Slouching Towards Bethlehem. And it's read beautifully by Maya Hawke. Did she get an Earphones Award for this?
She did.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it because she certainly deserved it. Okay, Alan, thank you so much. And I will talk to you tomorrow.
And I look forward to it.
Don't forget to stop by audiofilemagazine.com where you can find reviews for literally hundreds of audiobooks so you can make an informed listening choice. I'm Joe Reed, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.